All right, Clint, when you were out Trent Brown, which to me was, again, they are signing these tackles. Now, not as many on the interior where, it felt like it was more the issue, but now, like, they signed Trent Brown, who, if you forgot, 9-year veteran. He played 3 games with the Bengals last year. He tore his patella tendon, so that's kind of one to watch with his injury. But he had good years with the Patriots, the Raiders, played with the Niners. And Luke, you missed it. Luke came out the gates smoking fire, and he said he thought that he thought Trent Brown was a better tackle than Cam Robinson. So,
oh my God!
And then when posed the same question with Titus Howard, he took too long with his answer. So it was me as well. But
holy smokes!
They signed him after signing Cam Robinson earlier in the week, and obviously they traded Laremy Tunsil. But now at this point, they've got Titus, who is a starting tackle, Blake Fisher, who started the tail end of the year last year, including multiple playoff games, Cam Robinson, who has 101 starts at left tackle in his career, including starting the last 2 years at left tackle in Jacksonville and Minnesota. And now they add Trent Brown as well. All these tackles. Where is this taking you with the Trent Brown signing?
Well, look, this is the direction that I think it's first and foremost to me is D'Amico and Nick Caley. They have got to be sick and tired of playing guys out of position due to injury, right? Like the depth across the board last year was very, very suspect, right? I mean, across the board. One would say the starting lineup, the starting 5 was suspect across the board. But the reality of it is your depth was a major problem, right? And what I see him going out and doing now Trent Brown at his age and at his size, he may not be able to give you but 6 or 8 games, right? But you've got, and maybe he can give you a full season, I don't know. But when you look at the tackle depth right now, I mean, you're 2 injuries away from Nick Broker having to back up a guy at tackle. I mean, remember that last year? I mean, you got Titus Howard bumping down and playing guard, and you got Broker potentially, who is I'm guessing maybe he was just the best suited to try to play tackle, but I'm pretty sure that he's a guy that needs to be inside, right? He was 1 injury away from needing to play tackle at a time when you needed him to be a backup guard, right? And so, your guard situation. You look at, I mean, you had to move Titus Howard down there because the depth at your guard situation, your guard positions was thin, right? Was suspect. So I think, to me, with all of these moves at the tackle position, and even the moves interior-wise, I think it's
Are you surprised it's more at the tackle position than it has been?
Oh, yeah. No question. I'm shocked that there was not bigger splash, more aggressive, riskier moves taken at the interior offensive line position.
They have 4 tackles now that you could say, am I right on that? Yeah, 4 tackles now that could be starting caliber, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, look, but I mean, this has got to be, we're going to create competition. We want to bring in dudes that play the game at a nasty level, even if they do have some flaws and they're not as good pass protection as obviously Laremy Tunsil and even Titus Howard on his best days. This has got to be a depth play.
That's what I was thinking.
And a physicality play. Like a mentality every day. Like, how are you wired as an offensive lineman? Like, all of these moves have to first and foremost be, it seems to me, it's more about depth and physicality. Depth and mental approaching on a daily basis. And how have you had success to date? Are you nasty? Are you a dog? And they're going to hope that pans out better than a bunch of high-paid guys that, as Larry would say, were wearing skinny jeans and posting on Instagram. So that is, we'll see how that plays out, because there's a lot of work to be done inside. I'm blown away with what the decisions that they've made. I don't dislike any.
I'm about to say, what do you mean blown? Are you blown away in a positive manner?
Just the direction. Direction. I mean, you got to remember, we've heard every decision maker in the building over there since the season last year talk about fixing the pass protection, from the inside out, fixing the offensive line from the inside out. We heard the head coach when asked specifically, how do you grade offensive linemen? Can they pass protect? And every guy they brought in here, you can argue has struggled recently in the pass protection department. You can argue that every move that they made, none of them were aggressive moves that were, hey, man, we got to protect our quarterback at all costs, even if it costs us a little bit more money, and we got to be aggressive early in free agency. Like, they didn't do any of that. They've taken their time. They've been super patient. They moved out the best pass blocking linemen that they had on the whole team. They signed a bunch of
bargains.
Yeah, absolutely. Whether it's a 1-year deal or a $2 million deal, a bunch of bargain deals, and most of those bargain deals, the most impressive ones are at the tackle position, right? Even if you give Laken Tomlinson a chance to be like a true blue starting guard, even if you give that, even if you accept that, and that's not how I view it. We'll see how it pans out. But even if they think that, you're still a couple of guys short inside.
Yeah.
So yeah, the path to me is more of like, well, I'm like, what the hell's going on? But the actual individuals and the actual like temperament in that room changing. I think they've. I mean,
does this mean that they view Titus as a guard now to you? With all
that's the scary part.
All of the tackles that they like.
That's the scary part because I just don't believe. Now I think if you're gonna do that, now's the time to make the decision. Move him in there, let him play guard. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But I believe that Titus Howard is better suited to be a tackle. And I believe that he'd be one of the better tackles on his team if they'd let him play tackle. I think he's out of position at the guard position. So for that to be a fix and an answer now would be a very interesting move. Be very interesting.
It's definitely on the table, right? I mean, like it's on the table.
The numbers will tell you it is. It's what's going to happen.
Yeah, because I mean, yeah, Blake Fisher and Trent Brown being your swing tackle. That's a lot of swing tackles. And guys that you don't envision that can play multiple positions, right? Like I don't get the sense that Trent Brown can play others like guard or center.
Well, the interesting
or Blake Fisher.
The interesting thing is you got a second-round pick that has maybe a bright future at the tackle position, and you've got a couple of older players that you signed that even if they are the best version of themselves at according to what you paid Titus Howard, you think more highly of him. And now the plan is going to be to bump him inside. It's again, I don't. The path that they've taken has been really, really interesting to me. Yeah. But the guys that they've signed, I think are going to be really, really, really good in a sense of flipping that O-line room.